What's up, guys? Zach here. I got another GLC deck profile for you guys. This GLC deck profile is for the deck I like to call my double attack grass. And double attack grass primarily focuses on two attackers that attack twice. So the first attacker is Jumpluff, the Rapid Strike Jumpluff with Fluffy Barrage. This Pokemon may attack twice each turn. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you may attack again after your opponent chooses a new active Pokemon. Then Dipplin. If Festival Grounds, a stadium card, is in play, this Pokemon may use an attack it has twice. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you may attack again after your opponent chooses a new active Pokemon. So the whole vibe of this deck is to try and get ahead quickly and pressure your opponent through that way. GLC is a format in which you only have one of each card, so oftentimes pressuring your opponent from a slow start, you might get ahead and just win games right away. So to start with all the Pokemon, we have the Jumpluff line. This is a Hoppip that allows you to just flip a coin to prevent all damage to it. This is a 10 damage. Another Hoppip that's pretty good is the Rapid Strike Hoppip, which I think is 40 HP and 0 retreat cost. So that would be like a primary reason to use that Hoppip over another Hoppip. The next card is Skiploom. Skiploom's kind of what helps the double attack grass be extra quick. It has a free retreat cost, but its ability is the main thing that makes it attractive. When you attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck. So the main strategy being, of course, you start with Hoppip. Turn 2, you go into Skiploom, attach energy, and you automatically go into a Jumpluff and start swinging right away. So this is part of the tempo aggressiveness of the grass deck. So it's a very quick card, and as I've learned through playing this deck more and more, this is actually kind of the attacker you want to shoot, the attacker line you kind of want to go into right away. Dipplin obviously is still a little bit higher damage from the get-go with just Pokemon, but it is harder to get the Festival Grounds into play. And this card just easier to get off the ground right away. And the free retreat cost makes it an excellent pivot card as well. And you also kind of just want to get the Jumpluff line out of your deck right away before you draw into it. Next is Applin. So common theme you see with both of my basics for the double attack cards are they're a bit stally. They allow you to flip a coin to prevent damage to them, and so there are times where the deck kind of stalls out a little bit, and so trying to stall out your turns by getting an extra turn is the way to go for me. And then the Dipplin, his attack. So this guy, Jumpluff's attack was just 60, and you could attack twice for 60. But Dipplin gets to attack for 20 plus 20 for each of your bench Pokemon. So he can do, or 20 times the number of bench Pokemon. So he can do up to 100 damage twice without any modifiers, which is a bit higher damage, and makes it so he can actually take knockouts way easier than Jumpluff can. But Jumpluff is one of those things where if you get to attack right away, you might be able to clear a lot of the cheap basics that your opponent's playing. Next, we'll kind of jump down a row before going to the other cards, is the Torterra line. So for people who play grass a lot, the Torterra, well, mostly this Grottle, is kind of one of the best cards in grass that you have access to. Grottle's ability being once during your turn, you may search your deck for a grass Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So it's basic, evolution, whatever. You can just, once per turn, Pokemon search your deck. So it's one of your better or the best setup cards you have access to. And going backwards again, we have the Turtwig. We choose the 70 HP Turtwig. The other things are kind of whatever. Synthesis is nice just for making sure you get more energy cards into play. But it's primarily, it's chosen for its 70 HP. And then Torterra is your big boy. Torterra's got a 190 HP, so a lot of times he can take 2 hits. And the primary attack you use is Evo Press for him, so this attack does 50 damage for each of your Pokemon, evolution Pokemon in play. And so if we count up the evolution Pokemon, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have up to 6 evolution Pokemon in your deck. Most times that you attack with them, you'll either be swinging for 150 or 200. The main idea being that in combination with the supporters and item cards that you're playing in the deck, you'll actually kind of just be willing to evolve into Torterra right away. You don't really need the Grottle searches long as you might think you do. So the idea would be after a skip lip or a diplomat attack turn, you kind of just go into the Torterra if you can. Mostly because he can kind of take a hit and he's very good damage on his attack. And now we go for the support Pokemon that we have in the deck. So to fit the theme with double attack grass to make the bonus modifiers even better, we have the Lurantis line. Lurantis is the attacks to your grass and fire Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. And so this makes it so that the Do the Wave does an extra 20 and the spinning attack does an extra 20. So you attack twice with Jump Bluff, it's 80-80 instead of the 60-60. And so 80-80 obviously being a number that's a little bit more intimidating for a single attack. And then if you add in things like Muscle Band, 100 twice, or this one being 120 or 140 damage twice, which is a lot to deal with. And the other support Pokemon we played, the Gossifleur Eldegoss line. Actually, this Gossifleur is really nice because of its attack Call for Family. You get to search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. So the idea is to kind of allow you to set up your bench, your basics quickly, and also fill out your bench for things like the Dipplin attack. And then to follow it up, Eldegoss is a card to make sure you get your energy attaches off every turn. Since we don't play the Charm line, we're just instead choosing to have a lot of 1 energy attackers or free attackers that allow you to get the job done. And so its ability being Cotton Lift to search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and put them into your hand. The next is the Roserade card. This card is also, you'll see in a lot of grass lists. Its ability, Le Parfum. When you play this Pokemon from your hand, you can to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may search your deck for any card and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. So this is the card that allows you to fetch a supporter, fetch a stadium, fetch the Festival Lead Stadium, fetch a card that searches for the stadium, fetches any card that you need in that moment, which is pretty strong. And for the last 3 cards we have in the deck are just some 3 support Pokemon. First is the new Shaman card. This is your new bench barrier Pokemon. This card's very helpful in matchups that kind of snipe after you, like Electric or the Raging Bolt from Dragon. This is a card that you can often you start off with one of your pivots, you go into Gossifleur, fill up your bench, make sure one of the cards you pick is Shaman if they have a damage spread type deck. But being able to grab 3 Pokemon from just the Call for Family allows it so you can set up and get your flex pieces really quickly. Then the last 2 cards are Budew and Kartana. Budew, of course, both of these cards are free retreat pivot cards, but Budew is very nice for being able to stall out, make sure your opponent can't play any item cards during their turn. And then Kartana being another pivot card, but if you, the player, have exactly 4 prize cards left, this attack does just 120 more. So he's going to do 130 for 1 if you have exactly 4 prize cards remaining. And so it's kind of like a nice Buddy Poffin searchable pivot card, both of these cards being Buddy Poffinable, and it just allows you to get in there real quick if just in case you need to. Now we're talking about our supporter cards. So for grass decks, they tend to be a little bit more generic feeling than most other decks, where there might be some more centric, like type centric supporters. But for grass, supporters are kind of all about trying to set yourself up or draw cards. And so the top row of cards here being your primary setup cards. Things like Arven allows you to grab Buddy Poffin, or a card that allows you to get into Torterra, the Grotle evolution line, or just get to Grotle so you can search for the rest of your Pokemon. But primarily it's nice to search for Buddy Poffin, and right now it's also just a good card that allows you to get the Muscle Band to make your Dipplins and your Jump Bluffs attack for a little harder. Culver's Tenacity being the card that allows you to fetch a Stadium and an Energy card. It's just another target that allows you to get an extra card. So let's say Roserade is played. Instead of just searching for the Stadium card, you can search for this to make sure you have the attach and the Stadium card. Ball Guy, as you'll see with the item choices, Ball Guy's primarily there to allow me to choose to get a bunch of cards from my Roserade search instead. So like I'll play cards like Timer Ball instead of Ultra Ball, so I don't have to discard the cards, and I have cards like Net Ball and then Nest Ball that allows me, and heavy ball, just to make sure I can fetch pieces out of the prize cards, or allow me to try and get as many evolutions as I can into play right away. And Brock's Scouting being another versatile setup card, so it'll either allow me to set up Pokemon onto the bench, or it'll allow me to find the evolution card like the Grottle or the Roserade or what have you. You know, just so you can get more cards to set up faster. The idea is to just get Pokemon search or draw cards so you can get through the deck as fast as you can. And aligned with that, we have a bunch of cards that are either disruption or draw cards. So Professor's Research and Carmine are just to cycle through the deck to try and get cards set up as fast as you can. Chorus, an excellent card, especially in Grass, where you're going to set up your bench to 4 or 5 right away and then benefit from being able to have all the Pokemon on your opponent's side set up and your side set up. So it's not uncommon for you to draw 8 to 10 cards with Chorus. And then last, we play a couple of draw or disruption type cards. They're just cards that help you get through more cards of your deck to set up. And then these last cards are kind of like for setup cards. So a lot of the attackers in the deck are just 1 energy attackers. But if you're forced to go into a Torterra right away, at least you can get your 2nd energy on Torterra if you need to right away. And also Raihan's just an excellent card. Lusamine found its way into the deck primarily so that you can try and get a Dipplin off more than once a game. It allows you to recover the Festival Grounds or any other supporter that you think is going to be useful in the oncoming turns. It also allows you to just fetch back your turf fields in addition to the Festival Grounds, just so you can try and set up and disrupt or bounce any stadiums. A Parallel City bounce is very important. Parallel City is a very hurtful type card in this deck, against this deck anyway, and so being able to try and recover your stadiums to bounce it is very helpful. Lana's Aid is to allow you to recur your double attackers more than one time, so I think when you're playing this type of deck, you kind of have to be aware that you might not get full value for your double attack, so there are probably going to be a lot of times where you should just attack with Dipplin without the Festival Grounds in play, because 100 to 120 is still not nothing. It's a very sizable attack for 1 energy. So if you can instead just kind of hold the Festival Ground or save the Festival Grounds for later in the game, you can use Lana's Aid to pick up your double attackers once more. And then Guzma just being an excellent boss type card or switch card. Now for double attack Grass, we play a lot of item cards. So the top row will start off with the kind of your Pokemon search / ball cards. I play 5 different balls to support the ball guy, starting with Nest Ball, Net Ball, Level Ball, Heavy Ball, Timer Ball, and Buddy Ball for not being a ball, but an excellent Pokemon search card. Net Ball is a very versatile card in the fact that it allows you to search for a Grass basic Pokemon or an energy card. So it's going to be your item-based energy search card for your attached return, just in case you need it. But it's mostly to try and get a lot of your basics into play as very quickly and very easily with no costs associated with them. We play a lot of item cards in this deck just because of all the draw support. It allow you to play your hand down to 0 or close to 0, and then get the supporter for maximum value. Level Ball being an excellent card to search for basics. It also searches for the Skip Bloom, the Roserade, and the Eldegoss, so it allow you to have versatile evolution searches. Primary targets are probably going to be either the Skip Bloom or the Roserade with Level Ball. Hisuian Heavy Ball just being a card that's an extension or extender to allow you to make sure that you get your basics out of the prizes. And then Timer Ball. Timer Ball is an unusual card. I like playing this with Ball Guy nowadays just so the supporter Ball Guy allows me to have a solid card to search for Grottle, just so I have an evolution card or something that I can get outside of Level Ball mostly. Buddy Poffin being an excellent search card in general. A lot of the cards that were chosen, I think all the basics in this deck were all 70 or HP or less, so this allows you to search for everything from the deck. And then for generic evolution, more evolution search-based cards, we have Evolution Incense and Evo Soda. In previous versions of this deck, I removed these cards, but I had ended up coming to the point of view where it's like I kind of want to just get the evolution cards as fast as I can, and then if I have these cards extra later, I'll discard them with the supporter or some other form of support. But the idea is to just kind of try and get all your evolutions out right away to make Torterra have value quicker. Next, we kind of have what I have to call the recovery cards. So we play Revitalizer, which allows you to put 2 grass Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. This is a very good card for allowing you to kind of get your card, like to get the Diplins and the Jumpluffs going again. A lot of times I like to use cards like Super Rod and Ordinary Rod to shuffle maybe some of the evolution pieces into the deck while I have a Grotto in play. So I'll use Revitalizer to reclaim the basics and use Super Rod and Ordinary Rod to shuffle the evolutions back into play, and I'll search the deck again with one of the item cards that I have, or use Grotto to get the evolution back to my hand right away. A lot with these 3 cards, Night Stretcher, Super Rod, and Ordinary Rod, you also want to make sure that you're shuffling energies back. There's only 6 energies being played in this deck, so there are times where you might need to shuffle 1 to 2 energies over the course of the game to make sure you have attacks ready to go later. And then VS Seeker being an excellent supporter recursion card, allows you to play the Culver's Tenacity again to get the Stadium Search if you had instead played it to get the Turf Field instead of the Festival Lead. It's also just any card that you want for a supporter. Field Blower to help disrupt your opponent. It's mostly so that you can get through like HP item buffing cards. So like I'm thinking like Luxurious Cape, or there's like a Fighting Fury Belt that gives them extra HP. You want to try and make sure that your opponent's Pokemon HP get into the 1-shot range for your double attackers. Reset Stamp is a card that I've been playing in most decks now. It's a Raihanable card, so it allows you to use Raihan to get the disruption and get the energy attached per turn. So I've been putting it in most of my decks nowadays. Town Map is just so that after your initial setup, you're going to be able to pluck the pieces to help you keep moving quickly from the prize cards. Escape Rope is just a classic disruption card. It allows your opponent to get, let's say, like a Wailord out of the way for a brief moment. You kind of work your way down through double attackers or get damage onto the Wailord when it comes back, so that if you go into it again with another double attack, you will be able to kill it. Scoop Up Net is to allow you to pick up any problem cards off your bench that you're worried about your opponent sniping, or to pick up Roserade so you get another card search for any card you want from your deck. And then Bicycle's kind of like a support item card that I've been using. Since you're a deck that moves pretty quickly, you'll go to 0 hand size quickly. But I think its primary use for me is to kind of ensure that I keep it in the deck for when I get disrupted later in the games where it's going to hurt the most. I'll be playing a lot of item cards with the drop-based supporters that I have. And so like this, if you do a good job of holding on to this card, it'll come up later in the game and kind of like break you out of some tight spots. Make sure you have the energy or the recursion draws to kind of get what you need. Now to round out the deck profile, like I said before, we play 6 energy cards in this deck. I play cards like Super Rod, Ordinary Rod, Lonazade, Night Stretcher, so you'll be able to get an energy card back from the drop zone pretty easily if you need to. And I found 6 is a pretty good number. I didn't want to do 5 just because I like being able to have targets for Eldegoss a lot of the times, just to make sure I get the energies back into my hand. It's also a good way to make sure you grab like with Eldegoss, you grab the energies out of your deck. Your opponent gets Iono'd, you know exactly where all of your energy cards are, so you can kind of go more aggressively into your draw support and then search for the energies later. But going into the other cards is we have 3 stadiums and 2 tool cards in this version of the deck. The first one is a card that's important for the Diplin at double attacks as Festival Grounds. It's got a non-trivial effect where each Pokemon that has any energy attached to it, both yours and your opponent's, recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected by any special conditions. But most of the times it's get Festival Grounds into play so Diplin can attack twice. Turffield Stadium is one of the best cards that Grass has access to. It's a stadium card that once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for an evolution grass Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into their hand. And that player shuffles their deck. So this allows your evolution line to kind of get going really quickly. This is why you'll probably want to get Turtwig into play, or if you see a potential for Donks, you get your Hop-Up set up, you get the Skip Loom attached, the energy Skip Loom, go right into Jumpluffs and start swinging right away. And I play Artisan just so I can have additional Pokemon search early on. If I have the Colress and I have no setup and have a good pivot option, I'll kind of use Artisan to go into the Gossifleur, and the Gossifleur does the call for family for 3 Pokemon. So the idea is to try and just get set up as quickly as you can. Artisan usually never sees play outside of the first turn or two, just because you're always worried about these stadiums instead. And then finally, for tool cards, we have Muscle Band and Floatstone. Muscle Band being the card that helps double attackers a lot, being able that the attacks to the Pokemon this card is attached to do 20 more damage. So Jumpluff being able to hit for 80 twice, or Dipplin hitting for 120 twice. And if you have the evolution Pokemon that increases all your grass damage, it's going for 100 twice or 140 twice. And so these are cards that allow you to kind of adjust your numbers to make sure you can kind of one-shot the active Pokemon that's been presented to you. And then Floatstone is just your classic pivot. I already have 2 Pokemon with free retreat, so this is more reserved for getting a Pokemon that somehow got stuck into the active spot and getting it out of the way. You don't play a lot of energy cards, so you want to hold back on Floatstone until something like that happens. But you also have Scoop Up Net to kind of save yourself. And that's the deck profile for Double Attack Grass. Double Attack Grass is, I think, my favorite way to play Grass right now is just a quick tempo type Grass deck for your 1 energy attacks that allow you to swing twice quickly and aggressively. As I said during the course of the deck profile, I think Jumpluff's going to be the primary card that you're going to want to set up first. A lot of the times the line is going to require you to go into things like Gossifleur right away just for its search and setup potential and allowing you to search for 3 of any basic Pokemon. And then cards like Lurantis, Roserade, and Grottle kind of help support the whole deck while being able to fish out any piece that you need, be it the Dipplin or the Skiploom to go into the Jumpluff. And Lurantis being a card that allows you to swing for a little more damage in combination with Muscle Band. Roserade, like Grottle, a lot of times Roserade is going to be the card that allows you to get into the Grottle, the Lurantis, the Festival Grounds, the Muscle Bands. It allows you to get that extra oomph to kind of get the quick KO. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for this deck profile. If you guys have any questions, comments down below, or if any other cards that I'm not playing in my Double Attack Grass deck that you have found success with, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking forward to optimizing Grass. I kind of like Grass, this version of Grass, just because of how quickly it kind of gets off the ground. When you get a 2 prize turn with Dipplin or Jumpluff, it feels really good. Even though it is kind of hard to set up. I've cut some of the cards, like a question that might be there right from the get-go is there's a second Sunny Day Pokemon that you have access to now, Lilligant. I found that having both in the deck is a little too much, I think. You don't really have the bench space to devote to cards like this, because as you'll see right here, this is already 6 different Pokemon that you're playing in the deck, and so outside of the pivot cards that you're playing, you don't really have a whole lot else to put on the bench. And so I kind of ended up making those cuts just because Lurantis isn't a card that I'm trying to go into right away. In my opinion, getting a card like Gossifleur, Grottle set up along with Jumpluff are my primary cards to choose right from the get-go. These 3 cards will kind of allow you to kind of set up, but you always want to make sure that you have your next attack set up while you're performing this attack. That way you're never caught lacking with a basic that can't really do much. But if you're forced to go into a basic like Kartana or Budew to kind of stall out the game, at least you have Torterra to kind of buy you that turn back. That's it for this deck profile, guys, and thanks for watching.